What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the Ripple XRP price chart. We'll also take a look at the Bitcoin price chart. But I hope that you guys had a great weekend. It looks like price action has done pretty decent over the last couple of days, even though I took a couple of days off. I did build a new propane grill that I picked up at Walmart, and it's a Walmart brand propane grill, but it's way better than what I had. My old one was rusty and falling apart, so I'm happy I've got and I cooked some nice steaks on it, and it was awesome. And then I did a ton of yard work, so my hands are all cut up and my feet are sore. But it felt good to get away from the charts. It looks like the charts stayed green while I was gone too, so that's really nice. If we take a look here at the kind of like this shorter time frame right here, just like these are just daily candles, right? We have 4 consecutive green daily closes. We have not had that during the entire corrective period. The last time we had that was back here in July. So positive signs to see that playing out right there. We're going to have to wait and see still on how this bottoming process is going to play out. I fully believe our bottom is totally in. No doubt about it. I fully believe that's it. How this bottoming structure is going to look, we still need more information to figure that out. So whether or not we're going to have just kind of a move right back up to this high right here with a big sharp fall that scares a lot of people, head sideways and then heads on out, we'll have to see, or if it just wants to break on out. So we don't have enough information to make any type of judgment decision on that yet, or weigh probabilities at this point. We're still just going to keep on waiting. But the nice thing is that we do see 4 consecutive green closes in a row. First time we've seen that during the entire correction. So positive signs. One of the things that I always like to remind about is that you have to kind of just remember this is what markets are like. Markets spend a very short amount of time, especially the XRP price chart, spends a very short amount of time in bullish impulses. They usually will go high and they'll go fast, but in the end, they won't last very long compared to how long the corrections are. You're going to spend most of the time sitting in corrections and sitting in consolidations. That's just the way this game is played. I know it gets real excited and a lot of people buy in after the big move has happened, but the reality is the people who win at this are the people who buy into the boring, terrible stuff, the junk times, right? These are not fun times, right? But these are the times when you have to really be getting in, not investment advice, in order to take advantage of when the big impulses come. A lot of people get excited and buy the end of the impulses. The concept of all of it is to buy into this junk, right? And then you get to enjoy all of that. So I do believe that's going to be coming next. That's what's exciting for me, is that whenever we get these long corrections, it's like, okay, now the next thing to look forward to is the next big flag that goes straight up, right? And that's why they call these things bull flags and bear flags, is you got to think of these things as imagine a flag on a flagpole hanging outside of a building, right? The line, the pole goes straight on up, and then you get the big wavy flag coming on afterwards. So now it's the same thing, right? I'm looking forward to our next flagpole to come, but then I have no doubt in my mind the same thing will always happen, right? We'll get a big draw in of people who get excited and FOMO, and then we get the big long flag that comes afterwards. We'll dive into what price targets we have in another video later this week. In the end, I'm expecting into the 50s and 60 cent regions, maybe even the 70s. We'll see. But yeah, that's the thing that's exciting now, is like once the flagpole is already put up there, that's when I was like, oh gosh, now we have to put the flag out. and the flag can be pretty brutal for a lot of people. But I'm really excited to see this because I fully believe the bottom is in. And you guys had to hear me talk about 22.5 cents way too many times, and I'm very glad we're not talking about heading back down anymore. There could still be a little pullback, but I don't think there's going to be any break of the low that happened. So we've got nice bounces out of here, consecutive green days, all exciting stuff. Another exciting thing that's going on right now is I have been reading the headlines. I've been looking around today and I've seen it, right? Bitcoin has closed its daily candles above $10,000 for 63 consecutive days. That is just that's an incredible thing. If you were not here throughout 2017, but maybe you came in at the very end of 2017, or you came in 2018, 19, or 20, the media didn't start really going wild about cryptocurrencies until Bitcoin broke above $10,000. It just gave a really good narrative to be able to push the cryptocurrencies onto the masses. And while seeing 63 consecutive days above $10,000 just reminds me of back in 2017, that was the price level. That was when things started getting, what do you call it? Unsustainable, euphoric, crypto crazy, whatever you want to call it. When $10,000 got crossed is when everything went absolutely madness. So we could see that over here too, that, none of the daily candles closed below 10,100. So lots of consecutive days above it, and it's finding a support right there on top of 10,000. We are wicking below it, of course, but for the most part, it will not close below 10K. That's a great thing. For me, over on bcbacker.com, I talk about the different scenarios that I have for Bitcoin, and really crashing all the way back down, it just isn't in the cards for me, really, because I think that this market is incredibly bullish, and I see a couple of different scenarios that could play out with Bitcoin right now. It's either one, that we're breaking out pretty soon. We're getting ready to start catapulting up to $80,000, and it's going to happen relatively quickly when it does happen. The other scenario is that it actually breaks up to like around $17,000 and it consolidates for a year. You may be saying to yourself, those are two wildly different things. Yes, they are. But breaking down and going back to the lows is not something I think is going to happen, or breaking down, to 4K or whatever. It's not in the cards. It's not, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, imagine how bullish everybody was. And then suddenly everybody can flip to such bearishness so quickly. And you have to ask yourself, did anybody really believe it was bullish, or is it just price actions that's making people bullish? You have to really zoom out a little bit and say to yourself, what is this market really doing, right? If we're going to become bears and bulls over moves that are just like this, then what are we, right? I mean, these are huge waves. Are we going to really turn into bears and bulls over something this big, or can we see the really big picture? And the really big picture for me is that Bitcoin's going to $80,000. The big question is whether or not we're going to find some resistance up in here that's going to hold us down for another year for consolidation, which for me would be bullish, because that would mean it's more likely that we're going to have 2 altcoin seasons, or if we're going to follow what we did back in the past, and if we're going to see some type of just complete catapulting liftoff that just takes us way on out of here. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But in the past, on our previous fractals, we found no resistance here, but also there's been many, many, many examples in the past where there is a type of a crash that happens after here. And we say crash, but a correction that still makes this consolidation last longer before it really starts firing on out of there. For me, I would prefer this one right here, because, well, you still get your $80,000 Bitcoin for the people who want to see a huge Bitcoin price. And then at the same time, for me, probabilities are significantly higher that we actually end up having 2 altcoin seasons. I do go into detail into that on bcbacker.com about, how I would play 2 different altcoin seasons, and, what my Bitcoin position looks like compared to my altcoin positions. But either way, it doesn't matter to me. I'm rooting for this one. I'm rooting for a longer consolidation on Bitcoin for the 2 altcoin seasons. But either way, even if Bitcoin does break out of here, still fully expect that we do have at least 1 altcoin season, because that's what we've always seen. But either way, when we look at this on the really zoomed out approach, are things really scary? And I don't think they are. It just looks incredibly bullish to me, and that's why I even made bcbacker.com, is because we see these types of emotional swings that happen with people, right? I mean, we really look at this move right here. We can kind of just like highlight it with a little circle right here. And this is where the market turned completely bearish, right? We look at these huge swings. But for some reason, this one turned the market real bearish. And what people don't really remember either is that they were really bearish on this one too. It was, I felt like I was fighting the same beast again in this one, just like I was fighting it right in here, which I was also fighting that same beast right in there. So I expect to move up, and I expect to see the same thing we always see. I expect FOMO to happen again in Bitcoin. I expect that we're going up. I do not in any way expect that some monstrous crash taking us down here is going to happen. Not happening. If anything, it's going to come up here and then ABC down, or it's out of here. And the good times are very close. So don't forget about that, right? When we get into these little teeny tiny corrections, people forget everything that they believed just a month ago. Just a month ago, we're all like, oh yeah, the Federal Reserve's printing a bunch of money. They're never going to let stocks go down, the devaluation of the dollar. Then all that gets thrown out the window, right? just forget everything. Price action's down, that means we're bearish. But no, look, we've already, even on Bitcoin, it's already regained about half of it back. But exciting times are on the horizon, and we can even see it here on these indicators down here that we're starting to get the roll back. Now we're starting to roll our way back over here on the daily time frame, which is just another thing. All right, we got our price level that we were looking for, and then now the indicators are starting to roll back in the right direction. So All good things going on here. We didn't get a whole lot to happen over the weekend, except we did get 2 more green candles printed on the board. So we're at 4 consecutive green candles. We need a little bit more information to see how this bottoming process is going to play out. Otherwise, great start to the week. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Please check out my website, bcbacker.com, where I do explain why I'm so bullish in this market and the things that I do see, with 19 videos in about 4.5 hours of content. Follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.